Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to a very special Toonkind at 12 FPS in the Eclipse Cathedral Extended Universe server. This one is called Star-Crossed Destiny. My name is Heartless, and today I will be playing two people. Count them out: Sirius, Emmerich, Theydark, and Roderick, Asgrim, Gylass. And I am joined by two other people who are party to this conversation.
We're the peanut gallery and also the marriage counselor / J.
Oh yes.
It's me, AudioVizual, Toonkind's local bootleg Sableye. I'm playing Knom the Monk today. He was having emotions earlier before this was set, but that's fine because he's not addressing that, and and neither will we. Although I'm gonna eat my words with that.
And hello there. My name is Cryptid, and I will be playing Lincoln Rulean, who is, I guess, along with Knom, going to be stand-in therapist for the boys.
Let's give you a little recap of when exactly this is taking place. So, after Roderick, Knom the Monk, and Lincoln went through Knom's room, they just kind of generally walked their way back up to the 13th floor. Lincoln, you did notice that the origami bat is missing from the stairs as you pass through.
Hopefully it...
And there is no sign of Bit.
Oh no.
But you remember that you left Bit with Toonkind.
Alright,
Already.
He has faith in his boy.
And you guys reach the 13th floor and decide it might be a good time to just generally take a rest in the I have been calling the resting room, but I don't know what anyone else calls it.
It's the room with the big fuck off light wall.
Mm-hmm. And the dragon, which all three of you know.
Yep.
So we're sitting a little bit more uncomfortably in this room now.
Yeah. Yes. But you've decided to distract from your knowledge that there is a dragon sleeping on the other side of that light wall by helping Roderick to learn his colors. Because Knom very quickly found out in his room that Roderick has problems with colors.
He's colorblind in a weird way, but it's not blind.
Specifically, he used to be colorblind. Now he sees too many colors, and he never really relearned how to identify colors.
Did you ever say what kind of colorblind he was before?
So it's a very rare version. So if, like, I don't remember what.
It was in our group chat.
Yeah. Hold on, I can...
It was the more extreme one beyond being red-green colorblind. Because I know that being red-green colorblind is the most common type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the thing of, I didn't expect this, it just happened. During a roleplay that I hold as canon.
Excellent.
I look at Blissland.
Blissland, beloved.
A call back to something that is way far in the past for this version of Roderick, and not very far in the past for Toonkind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's red looks like brown or brown looks like red, and He can also see different things based off of Toon stuff too, like celluloids and stuff, because we talked about that.
Yes, that was because of the way his eyes are now, rather than the way they were before.
You know what? He was fucked up colorblind, and guess what? It hasn't been addressed yet, but Sterling still has that fucked up colorblind. So that's
Yes,
Sterling's problem now,
because-
not Roderick's.
Because Sterling is in the body that was born colorblind.
It's
Oh
not
boy.
about him. It's not about that Roderick. It's about this Roderick.
Anyways.
So there's a giant pile of plush animals.
Littered all around them. Roderick's sitting on the floor, probably next to... So, there's this row of seats right underneath the wall, one of the walls that has stained glass windows in it. Like, it's literally, it's a long kind of hall with stained glass windows on either side. And I am screwing with how everything works, but shh, don't think about how space works. Don't think
worry.
about how space works.
No thoughts. No thoughts.
What is architecture?
Don't know her.
I look at Canon Eclipse Cathedral and I look away because there's don't think about it. Anyway,
don't think about the chairs. Don't think about the chairs. Anything but the chairs.
Don't think about Castle Oblivion architecture.
I think this is a mean cough. Anyway.
And Roderick is looking between two different stuffed animals, I guess.
One is a bright hot pink rabbit, and the other one is a unicorn that's rainbow, but like pastel.
Oh no.
So Roderick just like holds up the rainbow unicorn and just kind of like narrows his eyes at it. Like he's squinting.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Mom's taking furious notes.
I would just like to mention, as this is happening, Lincoln is just in the kitchen making tea.
Lincoln is making tea in the kitchen. Wonderful. Okay, so let's start it off this way. Lincoln, the door opens from behind you because there are two doors in the kitchen. One that leads to the resting room. That one's in front of you. The one behind you comes in from the memory room.
I have a question. Does Lincoln notice with a passive of... I don't know what his passive is. What is his passive perception? Where is that? 12. How loud is the door? Alright.
The door goes...
He stops humming immediately. He was humming quite loudly. And then he stops as soon as the door opens. And turns to look.
So you turn to look, and passing through here is a messy, bed-headed Sirius. And you know this is Sirius because his bedhead hair is just like floating and sticking out in all different directions. And most of it is behind him, but it's slowly creeping forward. You know, as hair does in the water.
Points to Blue Jay. What time of day is it?
You point to Blue Jay, and I say that it's getting close to noon. Like it's getting close to noontime.
Gotcha. So technically still morning. So Lincoln's just be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Morning, Sirius. Tea."
Oh, yes. Sure. He's kind of uncertain of the sudden niceness you are displaying.
Lincoln's gonna reach into his hammer space and hold on. I need to roll and make sure.
Yes.
It's a
D10.
10. I always
Yeah.
forget. There we go.
Yeah,
Okay,
you get
good.
it.
He brings out like a bundle of different like teas. I don't know what the different tea kinds are, but he just kind of goes through and then he's just like plays them out like playing cards, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Pick your favorite."
Sirius just kind of scrubs at his unshaven face for a moment as he's looking over them, and he chooses something that has a kind of sweeter, would have a sweeter taste, if, of course, brewed correctly.
Oh yes, excellent choice. And then he's gonna like start making the tea with the tea bag, and then put the rest back into his hammer space. You sure slept late.
Oh, I was awake earlier. I wanted to try and see if I could sleep a little longer.
Very successful.
No.
Mm,
So
bad night then.
Yeah, pretty bad. I am kind of actually. He just kind of waves backwards, sleeping on the couch, and now must room to see if it would help make anything different.
Well, there is like a giant pile of stuffed animals in there. That might be a little bit more comfortable.
He warily glances at the door and kind of rolls his shoulders a little bit and goes, "No, I think I'm good. Thanks.
Oh, come on. It's a great place to drink a cup of tea."
He just kind of looks at you like, and he's looking up because you're taller than him.
Forget that I made him so tall. He's just kind of like looking back, and he's just like,
Sirius is short. He's 5'6".
"Oh gosh." Wait,
Yeah,
hold on.
he's short.
He is 3 inches short. Lincoln's 3 inches short of being a foot taller than him.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this part where I tell you really quietly and quickly that Nom is only 5 foot tall?
Nom is tiny compared to Lincoln.
Oh baby. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I hope you know, in the title card, Lincoln's actually leaning over.
Yeah. He probably does. He 100% does that too. He's like constantly like hunched over around them.
Yes.
No, they do not. It's only the extremes.
Look, Roderick is actually a little bit taller than average height for human.
Oh.
Because Roderick's 5'10".
Yeah.
And average height for male human is 5'8".
Ah. I'm talking into the void for anyone listening later.
Yeah. Hello, peanut gallery, of which I cannot look at without being distracted. Anyways, back on topic. Sirius just kind of. I should make sure that to make some lunch, because it's almost lunchtime, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he walks over to the fridge and opens it, and his face immediately like clouds over, like, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there any of the eggs that Valence made earlier left? Are there any left?
So the only thing left in the fridge, beyond the tuna salad, which is very handily labeled Zalbert, is a couple of eggs and a very suspicious looking juice.
Oh.
Because I can't remember what I said before.
Listen, it just be like that sometimes.
Yeah,
and Sirius is like, we really should have picked some sort of groceries up when we were in Yeast. It's just kind of muttering to himself.
Grocery shopping definitely is a necessity at this point.
I don't even know how Naomi's lived. And he just shuts the fridge.
At that point, Lincoln opens up the freezer and points at the ice cream bars, and he just looks tired. She walked in when we were making eggs, and she grabbed an ice cream bar. I am scared.
Oh, blessed.
They need some proper food. You need some proper food. We should just go grocery shopping.
Yeast is a day away, but apparently here that's a week.
What?
I don't really know.
Hard, I have a question. Has any of the hero team are they aware of the time?
No.
Have they been told?
This is the first time.
This is the first time Lincoln has heard this.
Yes.
He hears that and he says, "What now?"
Yeah, so let's see. Zalbert, he just kind of raises up his hands and waves his hands back and forth. Rescued me from my sentence, and he does like quotation marks. And we went to Yeast, and when we got back, it was like a week later. I don't really know how that works.
Dang.
It only took a day to get there and a day to get back. Oh, it was 2 weeks.
Huh. Interesting.
No wonder we don't have anything in the fridge.
Of course, because you buy stuff for like.
He shouts.
It takes a week. How does that gonna work? Wait, hold on.
Serious shouting carries into the next room.
Yes. Here we
go.
Roderick
just kind of looks up from trying to. So he did correctly identify the hot pink bunny rabbit, but he was having a little trouble with separating the colors on the unicorn. To be fair, you guys have been at this for a little while. And he looks over at the door, which the shouting came from, and he looks at Knom and he goes, "Did you hear that?"
One of his like little his little flibbly flobblies on the back of his head kind of like flick, and he's like, "Well, yeah."
I think the last time I remember him shouting about food like that is because well, it's a long time ago.
Well, I have some like rations and stuff, and Victor gave me some ice cream. So, you know, I don't know what they have in the kitchen besides eggs, apparently.
Considering that reaction, probably not much.
Yeah.
Roderick just kind of gets up and stretches because he's probably been sitting the same way for like an hour or two.
Occasional stray plushies just falling off of him. Nom kind of gets up and like starts piling up all the plushies into a big pile and like brushes himself off, and he's like messing with the arrangement a little, kind of like he's not super enthusiastic to go into the kitchen. And he's kind of just like looking at Roderick over his shoulder a little.
Once Roderick is done stretching, he just kind of looks at the kitchen and then starts walking to it.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh boy.
Strap in, everybody.
Nom just like pushes his fingers together and like messes with his pinky, which has the string wrapped around it, and then he kind of just scurries after Roderick, catching up to him.
Mm-hmm. Roderick opens the door into the kitchen, and Sirius is ranting at you, Lincoln, about how poorly it's like he made sandwiches like earlier, but that was with the last of the food that was here, like yesterday.
Lincoln is just like nodding and making like just intermittent noises of like, yep, of agreement. And he's just like, yeah, you're right.
And the door opens and you hear Sirius say, it's kind of maddening. It's like they don't even care. I don't really understand.
I'm pretty sure they're just surviving off of coffee at this point.
That's what's so frustrating. You can't survive off of coffee. There's no protein in it.
Right?
And he's just kind of, his hair is like flying out and waving around like like he's caught in the middle of a whirlpool. He's a genasi. He's a water genasi. This is how I'm being
so
creative.
Valid. So valid.
And he looks over because the door opened, and he pauses for a moment, like mid-rant.
Lincoln also turns around, a cup of tea in hand, and he's like, "Oh, hey, y'all."
Nom's kind of just staring, probably like clutching his sleeves, just kind of like, clearly probably looking somewhat like he's questioning Sirius's sanity, just a little. And he's just like, hi, Lincoln.
And Roderick's is just kind of raises his hand and goes, hi. I heard some shouting from the other room. No food in the fridge, huh?
Yeah, we were having a bit of a discussion about the nutrition intake here at the cathedral. We're not really sure how good it is. Considering there's only eggs, and those are quite scarce at the moment.
Roderick just kind of nods.
So, you know,
Don't remember even seeing a market when we were passing through the town.
yeah, you said that the closest one is in Yeast, and he looks back to Sirius.
And Sirius just kind of, the closest one. The closest one is in Yeast. I think I genuinely don't know how the people of Timeless Hollow even get their food. Seems to come out of nowhere. I guess that's just par for the course here, though.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. And by that it means it makes no sense.
Nom just kind of like raises a sleeve-covered hand and he's like, me and Sterling, we ate at the tavern before we came. A lot of the townspeople seem to eat there. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
One conclusion: tavern's magical.
Okay, Sirius. I guess you get to deceive.
Oh my god!
With a nat fucking 20.
Come on, Sirius, what are you doing? Sirius, no.
And you say that, and he's like, I guess that makes sense. No stranger than anything else I've seen so far.
Agreed. Lincoln's gonna go into the, he's gonna open up the fridge and he's just gonna start making eggs again.
He's gonna start making eggs again.
Yeah.
Roderick is just gonna kind of come into the room and, lean against the wall.
The classic trying to be comfortable but clearly not very comfortable pose.
It's the classic trying to be comfortable, clearly not very comfortable, doesn't really want to sit down, so it's gonna do that cool boy lean against the wall.
Cool boy lean.
Look, you cannot tell me he does not do that.
Oh, he 100% would. Yeah.
Nom's gonna slowly trot up to Lincoln and look up. Has 14 inches of a height difference.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And he's kind of playing with his sleeves and his fingers a little, and he's like, is that tea question mark?
Yeah, got some water boiling, and he, as he's fixing the eggs up, he's gonna reach one hand into his hammer space, hopefully. Okay, yeah, he reaches into his hammer space, and he pulls out the tea bags once more, and he's like, take your pick.
Nom's going to look through them, and he hums a little to himself, and he's like, I'll take this one. And he kind of grabs a sort of black tea, and he looks over at Sirius and kind of gives Lincoln a questioning look of
Nom looks over at Sirius, and Sirius kind of moved aside when Lincoln went and got the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And is considering life choices, it seems.
It's fine. We're doing great. We're doing good. This is great so far. Great start. We're just gonna kind of give a look back. He's just kind of nodding and then trying to convey a message, but clearly not conveying it well.
Amazing.
He's not very expressive. All he has is an eye.
I just play charades for a second.
Yeah. He's just he's squinting and moving his head a little bit. No, you can't. It's not doing well.
Nom's just staring, trying desperately to understand.
They're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're doing great. Lincoln is trying to silently communicate to Nom. Sirius is not looking at Roderick at all. Roderick's just kind of leaning against the wall, clearly thinking. Nobody's saying anything. The water is starting to boil.
Lincoln's gonna start.
It's starting to whistle.
As soon as it starts to whistle, Lincoln's just gonna he's gonna kind of stop the failed silent conversation and then start pouring the cups. So he's gonna hand one, or like let Nom grab his, and then start pouring one for Roderick as well.
Mm-hmm.
Since Sirius already has it. Well, no, he pours Sirius's as well.
Yeah. And Sirius just kind of takes it and holds it in his hands, and as he's holding it, his hands go from that like bright light blue color and start quickly like turning a deeper color as he's holding it.
Cool.
A deeper blue.
I love Gylasses. I really do. They're just so aesthetic.
I said I'm gonna make a water genasi, and then I said after like doing it wrong, I'm gonna go full take the throttle and push it down to the floor.
As you should.
You know what? Nom is going to tippy tappy his claws on the floor, and then he's gonna watch his like tea start to steep, and he's gonna like do a little anxiety walk.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about like where you like do weird stuttery steps.
Yeah. I do want to say Roderick chose like something an Earl Grey sort of tea.
Mm-hmm. All good choices. All very good choices.
So you heard it here first. Sirius chose something sweet. Roderick chose something. I don't know what Earl Grey tastes like. It sounds serious though.
Oh yes. Hold on. Google. What does Earl Grey tea taste like? Floral, apparently. With very distinct lemony citrus. Interesting. Huh.
Nom's is probably something like, I actually made a cup of black tea. It's maple black tea, so that's probably what Nom has, which is also fairly sweet.
Oh yeah, because it has a few drops of maple syrup in it.
Ooh, interesting. So good, so good.
But Nom's gonna, as his tea is steeping, he's gonna kind of anxiety walk over to Sirius. And he doesn't know what to say. So he's just kind of standing in front of Sirius, clutching his hot cup of steeping tea.
You stand there for like a couple of seconds before Sirius goes, can I help you?
Nom panics a little, like you can feel it in him, and he just immediately takes a giant drink of his and like eats the tea bag basically. He just takes the biggest drink so he doesn't have to say anything, and he just eats the fucking tea bag.
And Sirius's expression goes from like calm, collected to like immediately like, oh no, what's going on? Are you right that you're not supposed to eat the tea bag?
This is fine, it's fine. And he just takes another drink.
Of hot water.
Of hot, vaguely leaf water.
Oh no.
He's made this bed and now he lies in it.
It is at this point that Lincoln comes over with the eggs, notices that the tea bag is missing, and then just takes out another one, slowly puts it in, and just gives Nom a look like, are you okay?
Nom was going to try and introduce himself because this is Roderick's friend, and then he got anxious and panicked.
Can I try and give? I can't. I'm not a bard. Dang it! I was like, I want to give inspiration to Nom to
You're a
introduce himself.
warlock.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Lincoln's just like he's giving as much grandpa support as he can, which is just like a thumbs up, and he puts the tea bag in, and he's just like goes back to start cleaning the dishes.
Amazing.
Round two, you can do it.
Sirius is just gonna kind of glance between Nom and Roderick and back again, like,
Nom is like slowly beginning to turn like red. Like his cheeks are turning red.
No.
He.
Do you want him out? You can do it.
He's just like, hi, my name is Nom the monk. It's very nice to meet you. I know Roderick, you know Roderick. We've never met really that well before, so I figured since we had a second, I would go ahead and say hi and introduce myself. But yeah, it's nice to meet you. I'm Nom.
Hi. I'm Sirius Emmerich Theydark. You could just call me Sirius. Most people in the Isles do. We introduced ourselves yesterday, but we didn't really get to talk that much.
Yeah.
He just he takes one of his hands from the steaming cup of tea and just kind of lifts it and rubs the back of his neck. So how do you know Roderick?
But it's a bit of a long story. We got involved in this whole thing, trying to save a kid, and it involved getting put in a magic coma, and it ended up fine, though, and there was this whole thing with a magic storybook, and yeah,
So you don't know how sweat travels down skin that already looks like water. But Sirius kind of goes, that seems like a lot to have happened.
Something like that.
Sorry if I'm making you anxious. I'm not really that good at small talk either. My
Oh no,
my mother
I'm
often was very upset with me over the fact that I can't do small talk.
no, I'm just chronically kind of anxious. And yeah, so don't worry about it. It's kind of a weird situation to be meeting in anyway, so I don't really blame you.
Yeah, really, really weird. And Sirius just kind of like swirls the tea a little bit and then very carefully takes out the tea bag, lets the water drain from it.
So how long have you been in Einquo? Because I heard that you guys aren't originally from Einquo, and it's very different from the Bertus Isles.
It really is. Honestly, I don't know, cause apparently when I was here before, I don't really understand it, even if both Axiom and Mr. And Thor explained it to me like 4 or 5 times about the way that time works, or rather doesn't. It's very, very confusing here.
I mean, this place is I don't. This place is really weird. Like Einquo's weird, but like this place kind of takes like the cake for weirdness from what I've seen so far. Like yeah.
um, yes. I don't really have any words to explain it except for the fact that it's the first city I've ever been to. It's very big. Wow. He just kind of looks for a trash can, and his face kind of like deepens in that like darker colors, like, oh right, no trash can out in the open, have to go find one. And he starts slowly traveling around the room holding the tea bag.
And
And starts like opening drawers with like one of his fingers.
Oh, this is so relatable.
not like the second like Sirius's attention is off him, he just kind of melts a little.
Oh, this is so relatable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because like I think Doctor, right? It'd be rude to not call him Doctor. Doctor Inter was saying something about how time before they got here was like it was months outside, when I've been here for what I thought was a couple of weeks, and now that, like I was telling Lincoln that we Zaber and I'd left, and it'd been 2 weeks because we'd been gone for like 2 days. We were only gone for 2 days.
Yeah, I still can't wrap my head around that. That is so. So how long has it been in the outside world since we've been here?
Oh, poor Nom.
Yeah,
Oh.
don't worry about it. Nom rolled a
No.
3 in intelligence. Sirius isn't explaining it well, and he's very confused.
I'm gonna roll intelligence for Roderick as well, because that's a 10.
Lovely.
Roderick is just like, Nom, if you chance to look over at Roderick is just like, he's using his hands to like try to figure this out.
Yeah, Nom relates. So fucking.
And Sirius continues on rambling, because apparently that's what he does when he's tired. And I don't know. It's something to do with magic. I have no idea how any of it works.
Is it related in any way to the why everything kind of shifted for a bit? because the people down in the town were talking about that. Like, the entire scenery around it just shifted, like it was in a different place.
Sirius pauses for a moment as he looks in and goes, here it is. And he pulls out, like, a very, very small, very, like, it's basically a metal bucket.
Was it under the was it under the sink?
Yes. A metal bucket with, some sort of bag in it. It's a trash can. It's a small trash can, and he like dumps the tea bag into it.
Amazing.
Before straightening up and going, I don't know. I don't know. You might want to ask the doctor or Dection, or even Zalbear about it, because I have no idea. This is all beyond me.
Don't worry, it's like yeah.
I have nothing to do with magic. I'm a fighter.
To be completely honest, I had nothing to do with magic until like 2 years ago, so this is all really new to me now. And he's like gesturing to the cathedral. No idea. I'm just kind of accepting everything that I hear. I'm just like, yeah, that sounds right. Is it? I have no idea.
Nom just very quietly, I'm a monk.
Yes.
And Sirius just kind of raises his teacup and takes a sip.
Amazing.
Lincoln's doing the same thing every single time he goes off panel.
Ah, yes, the mysterious Lincoln's cup just becomes slightly lower.
Oh, yes. Just in increments, you just look at this, just gone at one point, and you're just like, what?
Amazing.
Sirius is too tired to question it, and Roderick has learned from a little bit of travel about Toon logic. So...
Toon logic.
Yes.
Toon logic.
Oh, yeah.
Roderick just kind of, like, shakes his head. Like, if he was a Toon, there'd be numbers that were flying around his head, and
Amazing.
Kind of waves them away.
he just kind of shakes his head. That's all very confusing. Maybe we'll ask them later. You guys can. I don't think I can wrap my head around it at this point. It's and Roderick's just kind of pinching the bridge of his nose.
He's dying, Your Honor. He's dying.
Help him. Help the boy. Alright, at this point, I feel like we should just accept it. Sorry, I completely interrupted you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, that's probably the safest thing to do. And Sirius takes another, this is a longer sip from the tea.
Ah, yes. Awkward silence.
Mm-hmm. And as he lowers the mug, he goes, what would I give for an actual drink?
Sirius, it's 12 in the morning.
It's 12 in the morning, but it feels like it's 5 in the afternoon. And we just had a really confusing talk. Does it really matter? Does it really matter? And Roderick's like,
Just
I think it should matter. I know cat, but and then both Roderick and Sirius get this kind of expression on their face, like, oh no, cat.
Amazing.
oh yeah.
Nom is going to like reach into his sweater sleeve and pull out a box of ice cream and pull out an ice cream and like slowly slide it towards Sirius.
Sirius is going to look at Nom, look at the ice cream, and he's just gonna like give you a withering look, like, not you too. That's the kind of expression on his face. He's like all deflated, his shoulders are slumped. He's like,
Betrayal.
It's just ice cream. If you didn't want any, you didn't have to look at me like that. And Nom kind of takes the ice cream back, like, no, fuck you.
there's I don't know. There's a lot in that freezer up there.
Well, it's not my ice cream.
I'm sorry. I'm a little. I didn't sleep too well last night. I'm all out of sorts.
Well, I can't offer you something stronger, but I can get you something with a bit more kick than the tea. And he's gonna like start rummaging in his hammer space again. He's gonna hopefully bring out some coffee.
You're looking for coffee.
Oh,
wonderful.
no.
Roll
Oh,
me a
yeah.
d10.
Oh gosh.
And yeah, I'll consider that a success, because failure would have been a little higher, because it's been a long time since you've actually been at your old job, so you don't carry coffee on
yes.
you.
No.
Normally. But this
No.
time you pull out a cup of coffee.
Oh, a full cup, yes.
It's a full
Is it
cup
hot?
and it's steaming hot.
Excellent. Toon logic, I love it. And he just hands it over.
Mm-hmm.
He looks incredibly confused.
He looks confused.
He's not used to this.
Sirius is just gonna look at the hot coffee, look at Lincoln's, like... It's really hard to read Lincoln, so Sirius is like looking at the coffee, looking at the Lincoln... Thing?
Lincoln shrugs.
Okay.
I
He
just accept it at this point.
he just exchanges mugs with you, and takes a sip from the coffee. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Lincoln like pumps his fist. He's like, yes, hammer space coffee. Win. Writing that down for later.
I'm too tired to even ask.
Good, because I do not know the answer to that question.
Roderick just kind of... So you didn't sleep too well? And Sirius just kind of goes, yeah, I didn't sleep too well, but it's not really that big of a deal.
What kept you up, if you don't mind my asking?
Rolling. Sound of dice. I'm rolling.
Playing a nosy character is such a struggle. Not even gonna lie.
Playing a nosy character, make sure to roll insight for me on that. Cryptid.
I'm also gonna roll insight.
Mhm.
He's
Sirius-
wearing his special
No.
flower crown too.
Ooh.
Ooh, interesting.
So Nom gets advantage.
Oh yes.
So Lincoln, Sirius just kind of does a non-committal. I'm worried about Kat. See, I disappeared in like the middle of the night. I have no idea where she might be. Nom, that's not even the depth of it. He's deflecting. It's very clear. He's deflecting. Sirius is deflecting. Oh yeah, I got to roll insight for Roderick.
Oh yes. Please.
That's a 9.
Dang it.
Rip.
+1.
Nom's gonna look at the other two and be like, do you guys believe this? And like, they seem to believe this.
You
Yeah,
look
Lincoln's
at
like,
Roderick, and Roderick's just like nodding, like, yeah, Kat's gonna. Oh, I don't even know what Kat's going to do. Probably tear this place apart. And Sirius looks more nervous at that, like, yeah. Oh no.
Lincoln look like? How's Lincoln accepting this?
Lincoln looks like, yeah, he's nodding. He's like, that makes sense. Like, I get that.
Oh boy. Nom's gonna look down into his tea and kind of play with his tea bag. And he's gonna like look over the rim at Sirius and he's gonna be like, so it's not about the whole dead friend, not dead friend situation that you're being forced to confront right now. And he takes a long drink of his tea.
And Sirius just kind of freezes. And if his hair wasn't moving, you could probably mistake him for a statue. And Roderick just kind of looks down at his own tea and takes the tea bag out. Why'd you have to bring that up? Why'd you have to bring that up?
Is this serious?
Yeah, I was serious. Going, why'd you have to bring that up? Like, kind of half under his breath. And he takes a long sip of coffee.
Nom just kind of like looks over at Lincoln, looks over at Roderick, kind of like swishes his tea around, and he's like,
Lincoln's gonna be like,
when you look over at Roderick's not looking at anyone. He's looking at the tea in his cup.
all right, well, I think this is a conversation we need to sit down for.
Yeah, I think so too. Roderick just kind of walks over to the table, pulls out a chair, and kind of just sinks into it. And Sirius is still drinking that coffee. It looks like he's trying to down it.
I think as Nom passes or like goes by Sirius, his tail's gonna like flick out to like lightly like poke Sirius's ankles. Just like making sure that Sirius comes over, and he kind of walks over to the table and he picks up his chair and like kind of awkwardly like half sits on it. He's probably like on the other side of Roderick.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln's just gonna stand and like wait until Sirius goes to sit down.
Probably a smart choice because as he finishes the coffee cup, he gestures with it, and, like kind of offers it out to Lincoln. This is I'm losing the accent somehow. This is yours. Here you go.
He's gonna take the cup.
And Sirius is gonna be like, well, I should check and start.
Nope, Lincoln grabs his shoulder. He starts bringing him over to the table. Like, this is for your own good.
It's not really hard.
This is for your own good. Leads him over to the chair.
Giggles a little behind his cup.
I need to check up on Naomi, and you hear like through the door. Hold on a second. Where is it? There it is. Naomi, I just got you something to eat. Is what you hear through the door, and Sirius just kind of like plops down in the chair and sinks into it like he's.
Yeah, Lincoln gives him a look like if he had eyebrows, he would be arching one. He's just like, yeah.
He sinks in it far enough so that only his eyes are like over the table.
Amazing.
Immaculate.
And his hair, of course, is swooshed up above him.
Okay, so what I'm imagining right now is they're at a kitchen table. Roderick and Knom are on one side, and Sirius is on the other. Lincoln's going to grab a chair and move it to like the side in between, like where the head of the table would be, and he's going to do the youth pastor set.
My God.
So, just to be clear, so I'm picturing this right. He turns the chair around, he sets it down, and he sits in it, and he's like arms on the back of the chair.
100%.
Amazing. And Sirius is just like. And Roderick is sipping tea.
Wonderful start.
Knom is trying to look like a good young man. He's kind of scrunched up a little in his seat, just like quietly sipping his tea, just like just kind of looking between everyone, just like waiting for someone to say something.
Roderick puts the cup down and just kind of. He starts rapping his knuckles on the table. I didn't know before why didn't want anything to do with me after we came back, but I know now. And Sirius just kind of closes his eyes and just kind of scrunches up, sort of. It's that's not real. That's it's. He is not vocalizing very well, and he's scrunching up and scrunching up further.
Is there any paper in a writing utensil in here?
No, but you can pull something out of your hammer space if you would like.
Lincoln's gonna try.
Roll d10.
Oh boy.
See if you fumble. Nah, you
Oh
don't.
my gosh.
You have
Dang.
you have a notebook and a pencil. It's like one of those you know those big chunky graphite pencils?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a big one. I love it. Alright. Yeah, Lincoln's gonna like kinda open it up and slide both over to Sirius. Just gently.
I was about to say now I'm gonna decide if Sirius knows how to write, but of course he does. He's noble. It's Roderick who might not know how to write. Sirius looks at the pencil and then looks at the piece of paper. I just. He picks up the pencil.
Alright, take your time.
Instead of writing, he starts drawing.
Yes.
It's a very, very basic sketch. At first. And as he's drawing, he just kind of like sits better in the seat, still kind of hunched over, but not as egregiously sitting as he was before. It's hard when I didn't even know what was going on. I watched you die, and I couldn't do nothing about it. Pauses in the sketch. He's gripping that pencil kind of hard.
I'll break it.
Okay, if you do, we can get another one.
I mean, it's one of those.
If he breaks that giant one.
It's one of those thick graphite pencils, so they're less likely to break, but it also gets all over your hands.
Oh boy.
And it is indeed getting all over his hand. And Roderick's just like. I guess it's different on the other side.
Mm.
Cat didn't see Victor. When I came back here, well, not came back. No, when I first came here to Ironquill, I don't know why I said it when I came back to Kai. He's for a moment he's mumbling under his breath, and his eyes are closed, and his brows like wrinkled inwards. And Sirius glances up for a moment and slightly tilts the pad of paper and starts sketching again. And Roderick, unless anyone else is going to say something.
Oh, Nom is trying very hard to, like, not eat his mug. He is not mentioning how he knows Victor Vol is very fucked up from seeing Roderick die. He is not saying anything. He is trying very hard not to chew on his mug because he would probably break it.
Mm-hmm. What's Lincoln doing?
He's trying very hard to like kind of figure out when it's good to just let them talk and when they need like a little bit of mediation. So he's just kind of like sitting there and just kind of like nodding and listening and just kind of waiting.
And Roderick picks up again, like with a little kind of shake of his head, and he opens his eyes and says, "When I came to Heinquell for the first time, and I met up with Victor, Victor acted the same way that he did while we were growing up on." And Roderick just kind of gets that thinking, like his thinking is meeting up against a stop, because this is where the memories are gone, because the cathedral took them.
Doesn't have them back.
He doesn't have them back yet.
Nom
He's
just
the bottles, or he's not getting them back. Ooh.
No, nobody's poured that bottle out.
Well,
Because remember, Zalbear poured out the one of Roderick meeting Cat.
Nom's just gonna kind of mumble the Berticiles into his cup.
Sirius is gonna speak up. When you found me in this place and took me out of it, I was acting a little like that too. Clones remember the Barrett's Isles. It's what this place does. Takes your memories. Roderick just kind of swallows. I'm sorry. Sirius, who'd been in the middle of like, so the sketch is of both Roderick and Nom, kind of as they're sitting across from him. And he pauses in I think he was drawing the line of the table. You're sorry. For what? For leaving me here? Roderick just kind of Yes. For leaving you here. For failing. For not keeping my promise. Twice. No. Maybe even 3 times. And Sirius starts sketching again and hasn't answered.
I think Lincoln at this point is kind of like, he's still listening, but a bit of a frown starts to kind of go in his face.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, these are kids. Almost adults, but kids. And he's just like,
God bless Lincoln.
These are kids, and that death of Roderick happened in the past.
Yeah, Lincoln is just like, he's starting to put the puzzle pieces together, and he's like, oh.
Haha, oops.
Oops. Trauma.
Your thoughts, Lincoln, go back to what Roderick had told you about a month or 2 or 3 ago, as you realize that it's March, and that happened back in like December sometime, or before December, like November of the last year. How Roderick had told you that Kat had been kidnapped, that both Roderick and Sirius had gone through this strange kind of door and ended up in a different world. How strange it was. What Sirius didn't remember, but also what Roderick seemed to remember still didn't seem very, like something didn't match up in the story that Roderick had told you about what had happened. And what you learned yesterday about how Roderick had fallen from a cliff, that made sense in that story.
Oh boy.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff.
They're still not talking.
This. Lincoln just kind of puts like a hand on his face, and he's just like, "You're too young for this."
And both Roderick and Sirius look up and at you and just kind of give you a kind of puzzled look, like, what they mean? Yeah, we were too young then, but we're fully adults now.
Still, you're still too young for this. And just look at you guys. You should
Roderick
be.
just kind of counts on his fingers. I've been an adult for 6 years? I've been an adult for 6 years. 21.
You've been an adult for 6 years. 6 years that you should have spent figuring out your life, not fighting for it.
Roderick just kind of just puts his hand on the back of his neck and just looks up at the ceiling. And Sirius just kind of pauses for a moment because he's remembering a conversation he had with Dection. And it's looking a little similar.
Doing great.
Uh-oh. Lincoln hears about the child soldiers thing and he gets pissed.
Mom is kind of quietly sorry.
Nom is quietly chewing on his mic.
Yeah.
So everyone in the room hears a as the
quiet sound of, like,
the ceramic cracks under Nom's teeth.
Just a gentle crunch, you know.
And it's very apparent because there's a little bit of silence right there. I don't. Honestly, that's a strange rule for someone like me, anyways. Genasi live a little longer than humans.
So you were even younger, technically.
No!
Right? No, math wrong.
I mature just as fast as any other human. I just live a little longer. But he just kind of looks at you like, what are you talking about? You're making no sense at all, sir.
He just goes like, so do I live longer than most people, but that doesn't mean that, what, you have a duty to the world since you live a little longer? Like,
No?
you mature a little faster, so you have to go out and, what, bear the weight of the world on your shoulders?
No, I've been and Sirius just kind of like he's forgotten the pencils in his hand. He takes it, presses it against his chest, and it kind of smears some graphite on the nice red tunic he's wearing. Haven't been an adult for that long, but I'm 18, and that's 3 years. Been married to Kat for a little longer than that, but we got permission from both of our parents for that.
Just kind of like delicately puts the shards of his mug into his sweater sleeve and then into his hammer space. And then he kind of just looks at Lincoln and he just puts his head in his hands.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be getting heated about this, but it's just...
I have this... Sirius just kind of, his nostrils flare, and he takes the pencil and starts, like, making more marks on the page. Basically very carefully outlining how Nom's eyes did look before Nom put his head in his hands. I guess it's hard to explain. Fucking Xehanort just kind of tricked me when I was a lot younger. We shouldn't have been pulled into it, but, well, That's what happened. Trying. That's what happened. And I fucking believed him up until the point when he killed Roderick.
Can I do an insight check on Sirius?
Mm-hmm. And when he said that, he there was a slight as the page tore.
Yikes.
13.
Yeah, his eyes aren't completely open, and he's, when someone's about to cry, they're the middle part of their eyebrows, the middle part of their brow wrinkles together, and it kind of sounds like Sirius is trying very hard not to cry right now.
Lincoln gets up, walks over and gets a glass of water, comes back, sits it in front of Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Does he sound guilty? Does he feel like he was responsible?
He does sound guilty for that. Also, I should roll insight for Roderick, 'cause Roderick is paying attention.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll insight. He's
Inside checks all alone.
Unfortunately, Roderick is more caught up in the fact of, so you look over at Roderick, Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
you probably, glance over at Roderick, and Roderick's just, his whole face is caught up in this "I failed" kind of expression. He's you can almost see the thought process going across his face.
Now, I'm about to say something, and I need both of you to listen to me very carefully. And he's looking at both of them. Are they looking back?
Roderick just looks back. Sirius is not looking. He's his eyes are down towards the piece of paper because he's actually actively sketching. I'm listening.
It wasn't your fault. Okay?
It was for
No.
trusting him.
No. It was his fault for deceiving you. It wasn't your fault.
Sirius just kind of, his eyebrows wrinkle even further. He puts down the pencil and raises his graphite-filled hand, starts pressing it against his face. Because he's right-handed, and I'm using my right hand to do that. And Roderick just kind of... I left him here. Oh. I'm partially to blame for him apparently going to jail for no fucking reason.
You're for that, so are we. We should have waited. And I'm sorry. And he's looking at Sirius and he's like, I'm sorry that we didn't stay. I'm sorry that we didn't make sure that they were going to treat you all right. That's our fault. And I take full responsibility for that.
Sirius just kind of I've been unlucky all my life. These kinds of things always happen to me. He's just kind of, right now he's curling into himself.
He's kind of sat up and he's kind of just been listening. And he kind of just like leans across the table and like stretches his hand out towards Sirius. And he's just like, it sucks, doesn't it, being the weaker one of a pairing, right? You always feel like you're lesser than the other person and you have to depend on them or depend on others to end up where they can stand on their own.
Fair. I've always been thought, at the least, being the youngest of 6 others. All brothers.
Nom doesn't say anything to that because, gosh, that's a lot of siblings.
The 7th one is always the unlucky one. I've always been underfoot. Roderick just, kind of flinches. And looks down at his lap.
I don't know a lot about siblings and stuff, but I do agree with Lincoln because it's clear like all of these people who are here have all been mistreated or misguided or whatever by this Xehanort guy. It's if it hadn't have been you guys, it could have been anybody else. You know, you guys are still here though because he didn't win.
Sorta win. One. Sorta. He's my best friend. Made him change. Become different. Made me think all those years in the Isles that he's not my friend that I grew up with. Both of his hands are over his face now. And without choked up, it sounds like he's starting to cry.
I think Lincoln's just gonna kind of scoot, like come and sit in the chair next to him,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of put his hand on the table next to him.
Nom's gonna leave his hand across the table, but he's also going to under the table. He's going to kind of lightly search with his other foot, with his like left foot for Roderick's,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of just gently bump his foot into Roderick's foot.
Roderick, who had been kind of frozen, kind of his expression had gone from guilty to horrified very quickly. And as you bump his foot, he just kind of comes like back into himself, like to attention, and he kind of dryly swallows and just kind of like carefully stands up by picking up the chair, kind of waddling over around to Sirius's other side and sits back down again and just kind of very, very gently places a hand on Sirius's shoulder. Sirius, I've never not been a project you grew up with. It's always been me. I'm sorry for leaving you here. I thought I was doing you good by letting you get some rest. Because it didn't seem at all there when we were climbing down this cathedral. I trusted Victor to take care of you, and he didn't. And Sirius is kind of just shaking. Trusted Victor. It's not his fault that that wee man couldn't put up a fight against Xehanort without me. 'Cause after you fell, he tried to bring you back. And that's when I took matters into my own hands. And I took that, and I took that my swords that he'd given me. I used them against him. That's why we even escaped. I had to pull Victor off of you because, well, he was just gonna tire himself out. And Roderick just kind of very, very gently pulls Sirius into a hug.
Yay!
Yes.
Out of character. Yay!
Yes. Yeah.
Out of character. This
out
is
of
what we're
character.
here for.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is it.
Finally.
And Sirius turns and just kind of clings. I'm sorry. I left you behind. But I didn't trust it. Roderick's just kind of gently, like, rubbing his back. Just letting Sirius cry. Is anyone else going to say anything?
Is kind of just like he doesn't know what to say. Other than this is really fucked up. I feel like he's trying to finish his tea, like turned the mug around so you can like see the cracked part, and he's trying to drink out of the other side to finish the tea off. So that it's yeah. He does not know what to say. He does not know what to say.
I feel like Lincoln at this point has like gotten up to give the two of them their space and has just come to stand like near where his seat is, like next to Nom, and he's just kind of like got his hands in his sleeves and he's just thinking. He also doesn't know what to say.
Man, this Theydark guy is a terrible person.
He is seething right now. Yeah, he is like this. He is like I'm getting into the queue to kill Xehanort. At some point, he does walk over and gets another glass of water. And then he's just like sitting in next to the other one. Because it's very important to hydrate.
At some point, after like sobbing, this goes on for probably like 20 minutes.
Odd.
And Sirius just kind of leans back a little bit, and Roderick withdraws. Sirius reaches over and like takes both the cups of water and downs both of them.
God.
Yeah,
Like,
Lincoln's nodding. He's like, don't want to run out of tears.
Like shots. The thing is when he leans back, his skin doesn't look as like lively as it had before. It's starting to look a little cracked, but as soon as he drinks water, it's just like it completely comes back to being like, you know, ocean water.
Like a toad.
Whoa. Oh yeah.
I miss the ocean. And Roderick's just like, yeah, I miss the ocean too. It's been a while.
Wait,
Wait too.
we
What?
went to that projector memory room, right?
Uh-huh.
The one that was showing memories. Did we see one with the? Was there one with the ocean?
So Roderick's room had the ocean in it. And a black sand beach. Do you want to check the memory room to see if it's still there?
Yes.
So you get up, go wait, and you get up and walk out
Takes
the
off.
door.
Yeah, he like full on sprints out the door.
No, I'm just like, wait a minute, where's he going? Where's the other sane person going?
And Roderick's just like,
It's like the whole full tune thing where there's like a cloud of dust behind him. It's just like he's zooming to that room.
Fucking
just like an
gone.
outline of Lincoln has disappeared.
Yeah, it's just like boop.
You kind of fight with the projector screen to get around it because the door is right
Or the
behind
same.
it.
Come on. Come on,
And
we're
you
gonna be
get
here. We're
out
good.
into the memory room, and you turn around and you look up at the screen, and for a moment, you see. Let's see where this would be. You see, Tutu Kid, Zalbear, Bit, this kind of ghostly, dark, purpley black guy with a hat, and another kid with like a sweatshirt tied around their waist, and they're all pressing buttons. You see that for a moment.
That tracks. That tracks.
And the screen flips, and you see the one who introduced him, okay, so the one who Vexus, when Alexis said, "This is Sterling," the one who Vexus said, "No, that's Roderick." That Roderick, otherwise known as Rod. Alexa, Daction, and Laura, like, walking through this very kind of misty place, and there is also another Alexa there, who seems to be talking about flowers.
I think at this point, like, question marks are starting to like pop up around Lincoln's head. He's just like, and then he remembers it's a close cathedral, and he's just like, yeah, that tracks.
Focus, Lincoln.
And
yeah,
then
focus.
it flips again, and you sort of recognize this place, but it's also not the same. Like, it's the empty castle that you saw, but instead of being, the empty castle and being empty, it's a sandcastle. And it's on a beach. And Roderick and Kat are there just kind of making sandcastles.
I lock it in.
And this is where you get to learn that the empty castle's changed because Sirius came back into the Eclipse Cathedral.
Oh.
And that's the only active rooms. Oh yeah, and as you're studying this, the door behind you opens.
Lincoln turns around.
You turn around and you see a taller Axiom the Fox.
What the?
He looks older.
What the? Wait, I know
And
that there's been mention about the tails. How many tails does he have?
you looked for his tail specifically, and there are 2. And he just kind of looks at you like, yeah, what? I don't have 2 heads, Lincoln, right? Yeah, that's your name. I remember.
Yep. You got taller.
Yes. You're very tall.
That is also true. I know time works weird here. Have you been... There's a lot going on right now. I'm very confused.
Do you want an explanation on how time works here? Because I could give you one.
Would it be an accurate one?
That's for you to decide and find out.
Hmm.
Although, I think, yeah, the doctor's probably in the control room if you want to talk to him.
Be in a minute. I've got something important. And he's gonna look back at the screen.
Mm-hmm. As you're looking, there is Roderick and Kat making sandcastles together. And Kat pauses, and you hear briefly from the screen, I wonder when Sirius is going to get back. And Roderick pauses too, and crosses his arms and does a think. Well, I don't know. He's been gone for a while. Hope he gets back soon. Now that's what's
An
happening on the
active room.
projector screen. It's an active room.
It's an active room. No, don't let the... No. Oh, come on. Come on. Heart, you menace. Affectionate, you menace.
You remember last time you were in the empty castle on the 4th level. You remember there were no people there. None except for the ones who had been kidnapped.
Come on.
And that information comes to you not... It's not like... It's kind of like you're getting information from the light right now.
Yeah. Because Lincoln's like this.
It's not something you would have connected yourself.
Oh, no.
It's like you think that, and then you think, wait.
How? And then he's like,
How do I know
yeah.
that?
Yeah, he looks confused for a second, and then he's like, gets like a little nod of thank you, and it's just like, okay, that's, oh, come on. And he's like, we're gonna get to that later. Alright.
Behind you, Axiom has walked over to the bottles. You hear a clink, 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 clink.
What is he doing?
He's playing with them.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking cat.
I think Lincoln at this point has his head in his hands, and he just kind of looks up and looks over and just looks exhausted. He's just like, "You having fun?" 100% genuine. He's not even being sarcastic.
Yes. And he picks one up and immediately dumps it on the floor. And Lincoln, you suddenly remember the day you proposed to Ophelia.
Oh no. Lincoln 100% freezes. Then he drops to his knees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
It looks mortified.
So in the kitchen.
He had one job. Take it. Come on.
In the kitchen, you guys hear so you hear murmuring, talking back and forth, and then you hear a very loud sound of someone collapsing. And it's loud because it sounds like metal collapsing to the floor.
Knom is fucking booking it.
Yeah,
Knom
Roderick
is
also, and Nom takes off, and you're followed by Roderick and Sirius as you all pile into the room of memories, the memory room, with Axiom standing there looking like a cat who's caught the canary, holding an empty bottle, and Lincoln is on the floor.
Well, Nom's first. Lord. Nom has two instincts. One is go for Lincoln and make sure he's okay. The other is try and punch this new person who's apparently in charge of why Lincoln is like this.
Roderick just kind of looks down at Lincoln and then looks at Axiom and immediately summons the key sword.
I swear.
You know what? Fuck it. Nom will punch. Nom will try and punch.
Roll initiative.
That was I rolled to attack.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah, you get that. Roll damage.
Awesome. One.
Oh.
Okay, so it's max damage. Awesome. So that's times 2. So that's 18 damage.
Oh.
Nom just, I guess, runs in and fucking punches Axiom right in his stupid face.
And Axiom cracks back, and his form seems to. So the toonish fox you see seems to stretch a little in that toonish way, but there's like static for a moment, and for a moment when he snaps back, he looks real kind.
Oh, fucked up.
And the roll initiative.
8. Oh my gosh.
Nom isn't gonna attack any more than that.
Oh, he isn't? Okay.
Oh, he just punches and then he goes, wait a minute, was I not supposed to do that?
And Axiom goes,
I hate and I love him. I hate and I love him.
And he puts the glass of bottle down, he reaches for another one and pours it out.
I hate him.
And Roderick, who was approaching, stops and drops the Kai blade.
Dang it.
Which looked different from, like, the last time you saw it. And Roderick goes...
Stop with the bottle! Stop whatever you're doing! I'll hit you again! Or something, I don't know!
Sirius is looking back and forth and then walks forward and just kind of, like, puts in, like, shoves his way between Axiom and Nom and goes, Axiom, if you're gonna give them their memories back, actually give it to them, don't throw it on the floor.
He's just like, he's doing an anxious wiggle dance because he doesn't know what Axiom's doing other than apparently giving back the memories, but also the other two dropped to the floor and he's super
Roderick didn't drop to the floor, he just dropped the Kai blade.
Yeah, but still,
clattered to the floor.
Yeah.
You said the Kai blade looked different?
Yes, it looks different. Let's see, where's the art?
He's just internal noises.
I know, I keep opening link instead of copying it. It looks like this. The blade is actually like a silvery blue color. The wings are pure white, like the tufts that had come off of his original guard. And yes, it is an actual blade, but it's got like gold metal gold teeth coming off of it to make it look like a key. In the kind of cross guard of the blade is a gem with a heart in it, and the heart is also gold, and the gem is kind of like this silvery blue color. The actual like where Roderick had been holding it, the handle, that's what it's called, is a dark blue leather wrapped with a kind of silky looking guard around it. And at the base is like a orangey gold gem, which comes off a black string, which leads to a black and silver keychain, which is two fish encircling each other like the yin yang symbol.
Mm.
And that's what the Kai blade looks like right now. And Roderick looks down and looks a little confused, like, what? And Axiom goes, oh, but it's more fun this way. Why do I gotta do it nice? He says as he picks up another bottle.
Is the table on wheels?
No, it's not.
Hey, Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I wanna hold on.
It's Lincoln's turn. Yeah, what's Lincoln gonna do?
One second. Let me see what this is. Can I get Axiom to make a wisdom saving throw?
Of course. Let's see. Oh, yeah, sorry. That's an 18 plus 3.
Yeah. He feels like his body is about to, like, seize up as Lincoln casts Hold Person.
And Axiom just kind of dances around the table with the bottle in his hand and leans back over it, and he's suddenly more toonish. And he looks over towards Lincoln and goes, gotta try harder if you want to do that.
Love to hate him. Love to hate him. You're completely right.
Man, I thought you wanted your memories back. You're having such a problem remembering things, such as where you come from.
Lincoln, do I punch him again?
Lincoln looks up, looks over at Axiom. Go for it.
Go for it?
Go for it.
Sirius, who watched Axiom do this, just kind of steps aside and goes, he deserves it. And Axiom goes, like, makes a betrayed kind of noise and tosses the contents of the bottle on the floor.
Nom's gonna try and punch him again, I guess.
Catch the
And-
bottle.
I hope I'm using.
Well, the contents of the bottle go on the floor. The bottle's still
dang
in
it.
his hand, but like
I thought he was
Roderick,
cool and tossing it. My bad.
Roderick, who had been recovering, immediately just like breaks into tears.
I guess Nom goes to punch him again, but his heart's not as in it, and he's kind of confused at this point. And also, Roderick has started crying. So yeah, it's probably fairly easy for Axiom to dodge that one.
Yeah,
he
you-
does have 2 attacks though.
You go to punch him the first time around, and Axiom just kind of dips and like pokes at where he thinks you have an armpit, and he's like, "Oh, that's interesting."
I don't think an 11 hits either.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does not. And you go to punch him again, and he just kind of dances around you and like elbows you in the back.
Oh.
I guess I
Oh,
have to make
heart.
an attack.
Yeah, especially because Nom has a plot thing, or lore thing related to his back.
Well,
God.
It's not proficient. That's still an 18.
That hits. His armor
Mhm.
class is only a 15.
And it doesn't do any damage. It's just a shove.
Nom absolutely goes stiff though, and like rolls around. And he's definitely gonna try and punch him again now.
Yeah, that hits.
Awesome. I'm gonna have him try again too, just to see.
That also hits.
Does a 16 hit?
Yeah.
Awesome! So Axiom wheels around and hits him in the back. And Nom just goes stiff as a board for a second and then punches the shit out of Axiom, I guess. Let me see what this.
Lovely. Man.
It's the stupidest thing ever, and I love it.
And you punch the shit out of this guy. And each time you punch him, he goes and spits like each
That's
time
gross.
he kind of spits out ink. Actually, the first time he spits out ink, because then he like kind of he looks like he's made of cotton now, and you hit him, and he spits out like bits of cotton onto the floor, as he looks like he's real kind now. It's very disconcerting.
Oh, that's gross as fuck.
Oh, I probably shouldn't do any more. They're in the rooms right now, and he looks up, and you guys see a flip as like the team in the Forest of Mystery is starting to approach a really strange, like, kind of ruin.
Is just like he's just like, yeah, stop.
What? Stop helping you? by giving you your memories back.
First of all,
Oh, I know. The Eclipse Cathedral didn't take your memories, so maybe you just don't care. And he starts to walk out of your range. Yeah, that hits. Yeah, that hits again.
yeah, no.
What's Lincoln doing?
Lincoln is slowly, like, just circling around to get in front of the bottles. And he just has a hand out and he is ready to cast something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the first one was a punch, and the second one was like a kick.
And you kick him, and he kind of slides backwards, like, oh. And he looks toon again, and the tails are just kind of flicking back and forth behind him. And Sirius just kind of looks at Axiom and then immediately approaches and goes, "All right, Axiom, that's enough. Don't you think about pulling a short sword." And Axiom just like rolls his eyes and going, "All right, Dad." Just turns and walks out of the room.
He is the epitome of chaos.
Nom just makes a very angry face at him as he leaves, and kind of just like flexes his fingies a little, and then just reaches back to carefully like rub his back where Axiom elbowed him. And he's just, he's not gonna think about that right now. And he's gonna go over to Roderick and check on Roderick and Lincoln and everybody else because he apparently just beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, when you approach Roderick's, so Roderick no longer looks like Roderick used to. Roderick is in his true form, and he's like, "No, you okay? Are you okay?"
I'm fine. What about you? You're, It's just like hands anxiously fluttering around Roderick.
I'm just upset because I forgot about my parents. People who raised me.
Nom does not have anything to say to that. He's just gonna like offer Roderick a hug because
yeah, and Roderick immediately hugs like Nom, like full bear hug. Yeah. Is just kind of like crying, probably into the top of Nom's head.
Amazing.
Hugs. Hugs.
Hugs.
All the hugs. They deserve all the hugs.
After making sure that Axiom has actually left, Sirius turns around and looks back and forth. Gonna roll insight.
Hi, get high.
Which is a -2.
Oh.
Sirius is very oblivious. But that is kind of high. That's a 14 -2. So he looks at the whole situation with Roderick and Nom, goes, And then he looks over at Lincoln and kind of like offers. Actually, Sirius walks up to Lincoln and goes, "Hey, big guy, do you need a hug?"
So cute. Oh my gosh. Lincoln is currently like he's turned around from everything
Mm-hmm.
and he's like looking like he's trying to like make sure the bottles that are still there are all right, but he's like grabbed his sleeve and he's like actively wiping ink off of his screen.
Whoa.
No, I'm not good. I'm alright. Just
You sure? Because you
he
look like you could need
sighs.
a hug.
He looks down and he like reaches into like his turtleneck and pulls out a necklace
Mm-hmm.
that has 2 rings on it, and he's just like, forgotten.
And Sirius just kind of like reaches up, and he has to like, I don't know how far he has to reach up to like gently kind of like encircle Lincoln's hand with one of his, and then he, with his other hand, he reaches like beneath the collar of his tunic and pulls out a chain, and on it is a wedding ring, because that's where he wears the wedding ring. And he goes, I understand, but it wasn't your fault that you forgot. Right? And there's this earnest, like, kind of half smile on Sirius's face.
Oh. Hey, heart, I'm gonna cry.
Because, out of character, this is a Sora bootleg. You telling me he does not have this kind of look on his face? You're lying to me.
He's such a good boy. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'd be kind of a hypocrite if I said otherwise, right?
Yeah. So it's apparently what this. Sorry, it's just apparently what this place does. But Naomi always tries to give him back in the end. So it was never gonna be for. Wow. I'm drifting into Southern. Look at this.
It's contagious.
It's contagious.
Anyone that speaks with Lincoln will adopt a Southern accent. There's no hope.
There's no hope. It wasn't going to be forever. Ever. Eh?
Yeah.
I know it.
Just
I'd be broken up real bad. Wow. I can't.
real bad. I'm so sorry. It's a curse.
It's a curse. I'm getting people mad at me because I'm getting loud. It'd be pure deadly if I forgot Cat. But I wouldn't forever. Just like you wouldn't forever.
Yeah. Can't forget people like that forever. They always have a way of barging back in.
He just kind of, he tucks his own wedding ring back and places his hand over it. It's more like they're always right here. Always. With ya.
No!
They're always in your heart.
Oh, hearts.
Kingdom Heart.
The heart remembers.
I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. All good. Mm-hmm. I need to stop looking in the moon shot of getting distracted. No, don't be sorry, this is great. Oh, Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I think
Sirius, just gently pats Lincoln's hand and withdraws afterwards.
Lincoln just kind of, once he snaps out of it a little bit, just kind of like ruffles Sirius's hair a little bit, and he's like, "You're a good kid." the actively moving hair.
Yeah, the actively moving hair, and as you ruffle it, it just scatters, it scatters about. You're gonna make a tangle!
Seems like it already is.
Yeah, I can't find a brush. It's real strange.
I really can't help you there.
Roderick settles after a little bit and glances down at the floor where the Kai blade still rests. And he goes, I didn't know Kai could change. Their appearance. It's really hard to say.
Well, I didn't know either, but they look really cool. Nom's gonna kind of like crouch down to pick up the Kai blade to give to Roderick.
Mm-hmm. As you pick it up, at first it feels a little heavy, but then your hands feel warm, and it's suddenly lighter. It's not like a bad heat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you were holding Roderick's hand, kind of warm.
Nom isn't gonna address that. Following that line of thought will just make him blush, which then he would have to explain. So he just hands it over.
And Roderick takes the key sword back, and he just kind of looks at the key sword for a moment, with a raised eyebrow. It's a little harder to read his expression because he doesn't have any pupils. You know he's looking at the blade because his head is tilted slightly down towards it. The man doesn't have any visible pupils.
Handshake emoji. Nom just kind of like looks at Kai and then looks up at Roderick and looks down at Kai, trying to, I guess, he's gonna roll insight. He's gonna he wants to try and understand what is going on behind that thick head of hair.
So as you're looking at Kai and then looking at Roderick, so Roderick's done this a few times before, and it looks like he's having a conversation with Kai.
Okay.
Because
So
he kind of looks slightly unfocused and not like he's actually there or paying attention to his surroundings. And usually when he's done that and you've asked him in the past, he says, "Oh yeah, I was talking to Kai."
Nom kind of fiddles with the red string tied around his pinky for a second. And
in that
he
second, Roderick's expression comes back, and he just takes the handle and flicks his wrist, and the Kai blade disappears. Just blinks a bunch.
Was it a...
Go ahead.
Nope, you're good.
No, Roderick just looked down at his hands and went, "Oh," and then looked back up at you.
Awesome. Nom is just he's sort of just umming and kind of was it okay? Was everything okay?
Yeah, everything's okay. Everything's fine. I just asking Kai a question, and he answered. Roderick just kind of smiles.
Nom's gonna smile a little helplessly back. Kai should know that they look nice now. I guess that's the way to describe it. Looks really cool.
Roderick's expression goes from that kind of like I'm smiling because yeah, everything's okay, to something like brighter, and he goes, "God knows. They said it was because of me, because changed as a person, I guess." And because, well, this is also Kai's body. Kai's other body changed with it. It's kind of weird now that I'm saying that out loud. And Roderick's just gonna look over at Lincoln.
Nom just kind of like stutters for a second, and he's like, "We can figure that out later."
Yeah. Later.
Good talk.
Yeah.
Nom is gonna go check on Lincoln. Lincoln and Sirius, how are you doing? Just power walk over. Everything's fine.
This entire room has just been like this, just the
Grabs head emoji.
I'm guessing this is after Lincoln and Sirius had their conversation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sirius is kind of like kind of beaming tiredly because he's still got those bags under his eyes.
He's fucking sleepy.
But he's beaming up at Lincoln.
Oh my gosh, he's so pure.
And when Knom comes over, he looks down to Knom. Because Knom is shorter than him.
Knom immediately stops short.
And he goes, he just kind of laughs. He goes, Axiom really deserved that. Oh man. If I had swords, I would have cut him down to size earlier.
Knom is blushing now. Like his entire head is like slowly, like his cheeks are like bright red and it's like spreading, and he kind of just like buries his face in his hands and he's just like, parents always told me never to use violence as an answer, but everyone said I should punch him, so I just figured, it would be fine.
It's one heck of a punch, kid.
Sirius's eyes open wide with like wonder, and he goes, "Whoa! I didn't know you could turn that color."
Now it just turns even better, and his little like ears are just like they're flicking about, and he's flustered, and there's like pride there, but like, my god, this is embarrassing and funny, and just so many things, and it's very clear.
Yeah. And there was like genuine wonder in that, and then Sirius goes, "Oh, he so when Sirius blushes, the skin of his cheeks turn a darker like blue, bluish turquoise, and he like takes his hand and puts it over his mouth and goes, "Sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you."
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're fine.
I'm doing the same. He's like looking, like pointing at Sirius. You're going all Navy.
Yeah, you should have seen me when I proposed to Cat. You guys want to close this out here?
Sure, we can do that. I'm sure this won't have any consequences.
I do have a request that we close on the beach scene finally being open, because that was the entire point of this room and it all went downhill. Lincoln had one job.
And as Sirius is kind of looking away and giving Knom some time, he pauses and blinks and goes, "What?" And on the screen, behind Knom and Roderick turns around to see it, is Roderick and Cat making sandcastles. And we're going to close on that.
Amazing.
Thank you for joining us for this very, very special and very rather long 12 FPS.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.